Episode 4. Holy shit.
Episode 4?
Yeah.
That was fast.
We're already here. Yeah,
That was fast.
why? Okay, here's my question right off the bat with this. Thank you all for joining us both. So, I feel like we picked the most paranormal time in the history of paranormal times to start this thing, because the world has just gone completely nuts.
There's so much happening. There's so much happening. And I feel like, what's funny? Is we've been talking about doing this podcast for a very long time.
A couple of years.
Yeah. We've been talking about, hey, let's get back into podcasting. Right. Let's do it again. We had so much fun. And there's a lot to talk about. And it just wouldn't happen. And then recently, and it wasn't even because of the paranormal happenings. It was just because, hey, let's do this. Are we going to do it or not?
Right.
And I don't know, man. Like, I think everything happens for a reason, and it's aligned the way it should be. And I truly believe, like, both of us being hashtag psychics, we both were like, it's time. It's time. And we did it, and we decided to start this up. And, like, immediately, you can blame us. No, immediately.
The world went crazy. The world went nuts. It was. I'm like, seriously? It's like we hit the start button.
It's like the universe is like, oh, do you want a podcast about paranormal and weird happened? You want a paranormal Odyssey, guys?
Yeah, we kind of called it, didn't we?
We did.
The name.
Oh my God, manifestors. Oh my God.
I please do not blame us for this. I don't.
No,
don't at me, bro. Because
don't blame the witch.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, look at her, she's wicked. Kill her.
Well, now we have a copyright violation. Nice, thank you.
No, it's not. It's not. I don't own the rights to that music. It's not copyright.
Oh
what do people do when they do karaoke?
They do karaoke, but they don't repost it. That's a thing.
People post it. People repost it. People stream with it.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
There's certain things that you're allowed to do, and I didn't use any music.
Okay, we might be all right then.
Yeah, we're totally fine.
Okay, so so we've got drones.
We have drones.
We have orbs.
We have orbs,
which are plasmoid. I hate plasmoid. Plasmoid. What's a plasmoid? My God. So we've got things being shot down.
Yes, we do.
The FBI apparently has no clue what's happening at all.
They do. You know they do.
Trump knows something, but he won't tell us yet.
He won't say shit.
Basically, he's like, hey, ask those guys.
You know what was so funny? And I get it. Okay, fine. He's not in office yet, whatever. I told Chris. But it was so funny because he comes out like, I think the government should tell the American people. I think everyone should know. I think it should be said. So they ask him a question. Do you know what it is? I'd rather not say.
Well, he can't because it's a national security thing.
I was like, bro, come on, man.
Yeah, I know. It was funny, but
And real quick before we go on, excuse if you hear me cough or sniffle, or if you hear the wheezing.
Remember, I started this last week. No, I'm on the tail end of it, and she's now, well, not completely brand new, but it's still hitting you. So, but we got all these things going, and you guys already know that stuff. But I mean, this leads to so many different questions. We're learning more about this whole, situation that's happening at the Vatican now, where the Pope, along with some Freemasons, they never had any association before, but now they're cool, are going to go ahead and open the 5 gates, the 5 seals, the 5 portals.
And okay, no, go on. I have to say something.
I'm just saying, in a ritual that's never been attempted before, right? And here's the thing I found out. This is Peter's tomb that they're doing this in.
Yeah.
Right? And they're going to live stream from, is it Peter's tomb? Or,
yeah. St. Peter's tomb.
Yeah, after they open it up, they're just going to stick a camera in there so we can all hang out and watch. And then, okay, so here's the deal. Very clever. I found this out. The Vatican is actually the one that quietly slipped the name Lucifer's tomb. They're the ones who put it out there.
Oh, you found that out?
Yes. So they're the ones who got it out there in a press release. And now we're putting 2 and 2 together with the Peter aspect of it, right?
Well, the conversation you and I had the other day.
This was right after the podcast.
Yeah, it was.
Because we're sitting here trying to be Scooby-Doo.
And I was like, let's record another one while it's fresh in our minds.
Yeah.
But we didn't do it.
It's okay. It's still right here. I got it. But yeah, so they're the ones that let this thing slip. But you can go on and watch now. They're like very openly doing ritual. Okay, so we're talking about Roman Catholic ritual. Now, this opens so many different things. So many different
Totally.
things. So, for those of you who don't know, the Vatican itself is built upon a cemetery.
Yes, it is. It's built
Okay,
upon a cemetery, very, very ancient.
very ancient.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's all kinds of different things that go along with this, but I just want to say really quickly, as it seems, if we're trying to figure out exactly kind of the timeline of Catholicism and the different ways that things happen, the Roman Empire itself never fell. Okay, there was never a fall of the Roman Empire. It transformed itself into a church, into a religion, which was Catholicism. All of the riches, everything else went into that. So Vatican City is the Roman Empire.
Which is gonna fuck a lot of people up.
Well,
Because,
yeah,
you
it's
know,
gonna.
like a lot of people talk about like, oh, the Roman Empire, and then there's this thing where like men think about the Roman Empire, the fall of the Roman Empire at least like once daily. Have you heard of that?
Yeah,
Like all men think of like, oh, and then like there's a comparison, when they think about this, oh, that's my Roman Empire or whatever. But yeah, but it's gonna fuck a lot of people up because all these things that we thought we knew or that we were taught, the fall if that is true, that's it never fell, but it just transformed.
yeah. They cleverly rebranded themselves as this church, and they thought, hey, Christianity, cool. We'll kind of use that sort of idea to make this thing happen. But if you look at Catholicism, for the most part, it's a pagan religion. Everything about it is a pagan religion.
Well, I mean, absolutely it is. Okay, so this thing, this new ritual that they're gonna do, it's a complete and total, it's a ritual. Okay, like other practitioners and Wiccans and all these people, they get ostracized by the church and judged and just judged and said, oh, you're wicked, you're not with God, all of that. But here is this man, the Pope and the rest of the church, that they're going to perform a ritual and open 5 sacred doors or 5 portals. They're gonna knock on the holy door. And okay, so when they opened up to begin, they already kind of started it, that they opened up the box.
The Freemasons were there helping out.
So did you see all the ritualistic?
Yes, the offerings.
The offerings, and how the box was sealed with wax. Hello. What do we do? Those of you that are witchy like me, when we do, and that's fine. I'm not knocking it. Hey, you guys seal the box with wax. That's fine.
FYI though, FYI with that, who do we get knocked by most?
That's where I'm going with this.
Yeah, that's
it's
the
like
whole thing.
I'm not knocking it. To me, I'm like, oh yeah, okay, that's cool to me. Okay, you sealed it with wax in a ritual. You sealed it. You drew symbols on it. I've done that. Doesn't scare me, and I'm not going to knock you for it. But here they are, like telling us witches, and everything they did with that box when they pulled it out, it was sealed with wax. There was tools in there was offerings, there was all these things. I mean, come on, like the blinders come off, right? Like this is, and that's it's one of those things that it's like they're not who they say they are. They're not who they say they are. And just, FYI, when I say, oh, I do rituals, I don't do, dark stuff. I don't practice any baneful, anything like that.
No.
Everything I do is towards healing, towards growth, towards, meditation.
We always say in the light. Always
in the light, things like that. And then, of course, you're going to get people that are going to rebuttal and say there's no such thing as, and, that's fine. Look, I truly am not one that's going to go up and start disrespecting other people's beliefs, whatever. That's fine. You stay on your side of the lane. I'm going to stay on mine. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to keep helping people. I know that I communicate with my creator, and that I, have a very, very, very pure relationship and communication with my creator, and say prayers and thank yous and all of that. So I'm fine. I'm not perfect, but I'm okay. If other people want to judge me, fine. I'll give them more stuff to add to it. Whatever. All I'm saying is these are the people that ostracize other metaphysical practitioners and witchcraft practitioners the most. And
do as I say, not as I do, right? And when it comes down to it, I mean, it's a very, very pagan ritualistic religion. And I'm not talking about Christianity here. I'm talking about the Catholic religion itself. My father's Catholic, so I grew up and saw it, and I always thought to myself, no offense to Catholic people, but I was like, man, this is very ritualistic. This is kind of weird. And God bless you.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. No, but I used to think how strange it was, and it's only been proven to me now over and over and over again that that's exactly what this is. And that's when we were talking about this, and it's like we had this crazy revelation between the two of us. Now, for those of you who've studied the Bible or know anything about the Bible, follow along. Anybody who doesn't, it's okay. We're going to kind of guide you through this whole idea. But they're opening up very specifically St. Peter's tomb, right? Now, when we talk about St. Peter, and we'll get into the whole story, he was the only apostle that was crucified upside down, giving the symbol of the upside down cross, right?
And it says in the Bible that he chose to be crucified that way because he felt that he was unworthy to be crucified like Christ. But he carried immense guilt because if you guys remember Simon Peter, he is the one who Jesus told, you will deny me 3 times before you hear the rooster crow 3 times or something.
Yeah, crow 3 times.
You will have denied me 3 times. And he says to Jesus, no, I would never deny you. I'm with you. And sure enough, he does. Yeah. They ask him 3 times, are you a follower of this man's? Are you with this man? And each time they ask him, he becomes just overwhelmed with fear, and something stronger overcomes him, and he denies Christ. He denies the man that he was a disciple of
3 times.
3 times.
3 is an important number.
3 is an important number. And so, but see, Christ knew this already. He knew this. And if in the Bible, it says he knew. And so he's just kind of telling him, no, this is what's going to happen. I still love you. I forgive you. But this is how it's going to, it's like he tells him, you need to know.
This is how it's going to go.
You are going to do this.
Like, I've already seen it. This is how it's going to go. Like he told Judas, for the silver, the whole thing, you're going to turn me in, basically.
No, they all denied it. And then he just letting them know, I already know what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. And I, when we were talking, we kind of had this like moment where we were like, I feel like he was kind of telling him so that it gives him a chance, even more so with free will, to say, wait, he said I was going to do this.
I'm not going to do it.
This is my moment. But he still did it.
Yeah.
3 times.
Mm-hmm.
3 times. And so, if you look deeper into that,
yeah,
who denies Christ? Who reigns on earth, I guess you could say, and denies Christ every day and says, no, we turn our, that's the people that follow the other, usually their thing is we turn our backs to that and we follow, the opposite of Christ.
Yeah. So. And that's the thing is that you kind of putting 2 and 2 together. The upside down cross was always used by a lot of satanic religions and things like that as I question Christ or questioning Christ or reversal of Christianity, whatever the case might be.
Or being the opposite of Christ.
We've always seen those upside down crosses. If you've ever bought a Slayer album, you've seen the upside down cross, right? But when it comes down to it,
as you sit there with your Iron Maiden.
Yeah. Oh, well, you know me, guys. I'm an old metalhead, so I've been into this stuff for a long time. I've seen both sides. But when it comes down to it, this is kind of what we're thinking about. Because what was the line that he said to Peter? What is the line that he said to Peter? And this is where we had our poof.
Yeah, if you guys remember, and oh gosh, I knew the actual verse. Maybe right now I'll look it up.
A lot of people know though.
The actual verse, but Jesus turns to Simon Peter in the Bible. Oh my goodness, and I don't remember what it is. It just left my head. He turns to him and he says, "Get behind me, Satan." He looks at Simon Peter and he says, "Get behind me, Satan." And he says that he sees, this isn't verbatim, but basically what he's telling him when he says, "Get behind me, Satan," is he's saying, I see the intention in your eyes and it's the ways of man. Something along those lines. That is not verbatim at all.
But the general idea.
That's the idea of what it was. The only part that's verbatim is the "Get behind me, Satan" part, but that's how it starts.
So both of us, all of a sudden the light bulbs went on. Now there was a theory that people have had, because I've seen this, that thought, well, maybe he was possessed by...
Can I borrow your... I'll look for it.
Yeah, he was possessed by Satan. Mm-hmm. And that might have been the situation, is that, being possessed, that's, Jesus saw that it was actually Satan and da-da-da-da. But what we came across was all of a sudden, we're like, wait a minute, no. It's not that this man, this disciple, was possessed by Satan. What if? Now just think about this for a second, in the big what ifs, but it might make sense to you, okay? What if, okay, so Jesus, Yahusha, whatever you want to say the name being, was the embodiment of God on earth, correct? In the human flesh, That's the Christian belief, right?
And this man didn't even know it, probably, right?
Exactly.
So it says, Jesus turned and said to Peter, "Get behind me, Satan. You are a stumbling block to me. You do not have in mind the concerns of God, but merely human concerns." That's one of them. Here's another one. But he turned and said to Peter, "Get you behind me, Satan. You are an offense to me, for you mind not the things that be of God, but those that be of men." That is in Matthew 16:23.
So once again, with that, um, the thought, and I'll recap real quickly, the thought being that potentially this disciple was possessed by the devil at that moment. Jesus or Yahusha saw that he was possessed and said this to him. That was the idea.
Yeah, that's what we were thinking. Oh, he was probably possessed, and he like was doing that like deliverance right then and there. But then there's also the chance that what if, just like Jesus came down, was sent, and had a vessel, and he walked amongst, you know, what if Peter didn't know all along that what was within him, but that's why Jesus had him with him, maybe?
Well, this is what we're talking about. What if God, putting himself into the body of Yahusha, Jesus, whatever the case might be, also in an attempt to redeem the fallen angels, in an attempt to redeem them, to give them one more chance to show mercy, to show that he is merciful, maybe had the same thing happen to them that happens to us, which is to give them that birth of the unconscious amnesia, where we are ourselves, we are our soul, but we wake up into this world and we don't know where we are, who we are, whatever the case might be, as it happens to every human being here, right?
Right.
Every lifetime is new. So what if God took this opportunity, Yahuwah took this opportunity and delivered himself into the flesh, and also brought along the fallen angels back with him to see if they could be redeemed, to see if they would act the same way, to see if they would betray him again, or if they would help him again. And if he turned to him and said, "Get behind me, Satan," maybe at that moment he said, "No, it's not the circumstance, it's your soul, it's who you are."
I feel, and we can keep researching, but what I feel more so that it would be is that Simon Peter, and that's why he turns to Peter and said, "Get behind me, Satan," for and then he looked at him and he sees that you're a block, like he was in the way. You're a block to me. You are not concerned with the things of God, but rather the things of men. And I feel like Peter was tainted in a way. Like he was a disciple of Christ and he was following Christ and he was learning, he was trying to walk that path. But I feel that Jesus saw through him and probably said, "You've been touched by Satan," or whatever. And that's why still, regardless, he's still seen as a symbol of the other, because not only did Jesus turn and say that to him and saw that potential in Simon Peter, and when he says, "Get behind me," he saw that evil in him. But then he denied him 3 times. And then Peter chose to be crucified. He thought in a way of redemption, like, I'm not worthy. But it was kind of the opposite of Christ. Like, okay, Christ was crucified this way. Don't crucify me that way. He said, I shouldn't be crucified in the same way as Christ. So they crucified him upside down. And after his death, now he's seen as a symbol by not the Christian church, but by the satanic church. Like he's seen as a symbol of, like, I guess, like a hero, sort of.
Mm-hmm.
Sort of. It's kind of weird to say that, but like he's kind of,
they see him as
as someone high up.
Freemasons, yes, essentially worship.
They do. He's one of the ones, if you look into it, I think in Freemasonry, he's one of the ones that is in the Church of Solomon, I think, or something like that. He's one of the ones that he's like a saint or something.
The highest of high, basically.
And so he's, because he denied Christ, he was crucified upside down. Jesus said to him, "Get behind me, Satan," when he looked in his eyes and saw what he saw. And then now it's just so strange, because for the longest time, remember, in the last, we were like, why the tomb of Lucifer? Why are they calling it the tomb of Lucifer?
They put it out there.
Yeah, and it's like, if we know it's Peter's tomb, why? And then that's when we said, wait a minute. This isn't the first time that he has parallels, or, that he's been compared or seen in the same light as Satan.
Yeah, we're saying, what if the human, the flesh body of, quote unquote, Simon Peter, was Satan, was Lucifer? So that's the thing now, because they're very specifically going to do the ritual at that specific tomb. They are doing things they've never attempted before. They're going to a jail.
Prison.
they're now displaying his bones.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah, they're displaying the bones. There's too many things that they're putting together in this. They're working with the Freemasons. They're working with all these groups, and now they're going to go ahead and put this out. There's something very, very wrong, guys. And I'm telling you right now, with CERN, and we haven't even touched on CERN on the podcast yet, but with what happens with CERN and what's happening with this, and it just seems like to me, this has been part of the plan. I feel like to me, this is like a last ditch effort. I feel like this is the one where Looking Glass, which is another thing we'll touch on eventually, hopefully if we're still here.
So much.
Looking Glass talked about this, that there was never a way that they were going to succeed, that good would always win. That,
because they would foresee, yeah.
Yeah, they looked for every scenario that they could beat God. And in the end, we always came out on top. Good came out on top. So I feel like this might be the final play. I feel like this is the chance to potentially, bring through some things that aren't so good, and the rest that they can't do fake, and make it work that way.
Yeah, it does feel that way, and it also feels like, oh my God, like, can we stop? Can we not? Like, all this, oh my God, I feel like something happened right before 2020 that just sent everything like if you think about it, wouldn't you want to go back to 2019 the way things were? And it's like things just started going to hell after 2020, and then it's like I just want to go there. Like, can we not do really 5 portals? Look, we're fine right now. Well, like, can we not do this? And then we've got that going on, and then we've got the drone situation happening.
I feel like this is part of it. I feel like
it's all connected. And then the other thing that came to me the other night when I was talking to Chris, you guys let me know what you think. Because think about it. It's like we're going for a very, very, very strong, big, like, finale, the grand finale of 2024.
The year of the serpent.
Yeah, exactly. 2025 is going to be the year of the serpent. We're in the year of the dragon right now, and so it's like all this shit happening. We've got the Vatican. It's like, what are you doing? Portals. I'm tired, man. Come on. We got portals happening. We've got the drones happening. We have all this stuff. That's monster storms before that. And so I turned to Chris and I said, "Isn't it funny that we have all this shit happening, but like they're saying they pose no threat to mankind. They don't know what it is, and then now they're trying to cover it up and say, oh, it's hobbyists." Have you heard that one?
It's hobbyists, and it's a bill that they're trying to get it passed to not allow drones to fly over New Jersey. That they're just trying to make a point. It doesn't make sense. The drones, whatever. Even though a lot of them aren't drones because we see they have no propulsion or heat signature, whatever. But the orb aspect of it, I'm telling you, the orbs are what you need to pay attention to. And again, I feel like, what do you call them? Luciferians? I'll just say Luciferians. Luciferians always do the same thing. They have to tell you what they're doing, the laws of nature, to get rid of the karma, right? Through movies, books, TV, whatever. And then the thing that they always do to try to make us feel like we just are unimportant mistakes, that's what they always try to do, is take away anything that has validity, right? So the other night we saw a video which was very clear of a woman talking to one of these orb entities, right? And you guys have probably seen it already if you've been on TikTok. And anytime she talks about God or Jesus, it reacts in these amazing ways. It gets excited, the energy starts to move, and she's, oh, you know Jesus, and it starts moving. You know God, I love, he's awesome, and it moves and reacts to her. Now, what people are saying, oh, this is created in a lab. It's just a mistake. These things aren't real. They're artificial sentient beings, and they really have nothing. As opposed to saying, yeah, I guess it could be an angel. Yeah, I guess it could be something like. Nobody ever takes that into account. And that's what I'm always saying when it comes to mainstream. The first thing they're going to do is discount it, and they're going to make it something that's not important and doesn't matter. That's how they always work. So,
but let's just say, put on this, like, that all the activity we're seeing in the sky right now, like you said, you feel it's connected to what's happening in the Vatican. They're going to wait. What if they're going to wait for the portals to be open to really show us why they're there, what they're going to do? We don't know. What if what we're seeing isn't good? What if it's both good and bad? I mean, there's all these scenarios, right? And then the other thing that I was, wondering, thinking in my mind is, it's just so funny how they're just kind of showing us that they're there, flying around, not really doing anything, not attacking. and just kind of, the orbs appear, disappear. The drones are just kind of stuck there. They fly off. They fly. All these things, whether they're hobbyists, whether they're real, we don't know because nobody wants to tell us what it is. But it's funny that we've got all this going on, and then we have the imminent TikTok ban that's supposed to happen too.
To disconnect everybody.
To disconnect everybody. So I was telling Chris, my brain, the way it works, I started saying, what if all this shit is kind of happening, but just kind of not happening, just kind of waiting for like something big like TikTok to be banned and disconnect us from the rest of the world. But then that doesn't make too much sense either. See, these are the thoughts I get in my brain because now they're being seen in the rest of the world, and the rest of the world doesn't have.
Let me counter that though, because I can see, because a lot of the times that these things happen, they do things to harness energy from us. They want that reaction. Why are all of our eyes on New Jersey right now? Why are we all trying to figure out what these things are? Because they're trying to elicit a reaction, an emotional response back from people, whether it's fear, anger, outrage. They feed on that.
They do.
They feed on it. And if you don't think that Satan rules this world, I got news for you. I'm telling you the truth. Absolutely, Satan rules this world. And they feed on this. This is what they have. And it's really important to think about how they structure these things. So just as an example, right? Get everybody riled up. Okay, we got Vatican doing this. We got drones and orbs, and people, things are being shot down and crashing into cars. And then it's building to a crescendo. It's getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And then we get to the TikTok ban and click, it turns off. What's that going to do to all of us? Nobody trusts Meta. If you trust Meta, come on. They're going to censor anything and everything that comes through there. So we're cut off. We're cut off at that point. The people who are actually speaking truths. And TikTok honestly sucks a lot of the times too. They cut us off on a lot of things too.
They do.
I just got banned on another video today.
And there was nothing wrong with it.
Nothing wrong with it. But the fact is, at least they let you talk a little bit. You can kind of get through. It's sad that we have to do that with free speech, whatever. Let's hope that changes back very quickly. But anyway, it's crazy. But what if they build us to this crescendo and then just turn off the power as far as TikTok goes? We're all lost out there. All those people we made contacts with through social media, through TikTok, we're wandering. And anytime that we want to contact them through another social media platform, it's going to be censored. So we're not going to get the truth.
Oh my God. I just had a thought. Right when you said that. Okay. So TikTok is the thing that connects us all, right?
Right.
Like us here in the United States with other people in other countries, despite the language barrier, there's something about TikTok we all understand. So we can understand each other. There's times that like you see people going onto other people's videos and they can either translate it but it keeps everybody connected. Oh my God, they're trying to take that away from us.
Yes.
I'm sorry. What happened in the Bible when everybody was connected with the Tower of Babel?
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened? They took that away, and that's when everybody started speaking different languages, mm-hmm. and they all became disconnected.
Right.
Right.
That's interesting, but that's coming from the other side because God's the one who destroyed Babel.
So they say.
That's what they tell us, right?
So they say.
So yeah, who is the one who destroyed that? Apparently, don't trust the history. History is a set of lies agreed upon. That's what history is. But I'm telling you right now, there's something wrong, and that makes a lot of sense to take away that outlet from us.
Because they're divided on everything else. Yeah, Republicans and Democrats, they're divided on everything. But the one thing they agree on is let's ban TikTok.
And it went through incredibly. I mean, it was greased. The whole thing went through the House, the Senate, got to the president's desk. He didn't take 1 second. He signed that thing off real quick.
Right away.
Every judge that it's gone to so far is, oh, nope, don't see it. Keep sending it. Our only chance is when it gets to the Supreme Court because it's more of a conservative Supreme Court. We're hoping that maybe they'll stop for a second and say, let's figure this out. But they're very calculated in everything they do. They're extremely calculated. And something I was going to bring up from before, remember, the reason that I think this feels so rushed right now is because originally, if you go by the conspiracy aspect of it, this was all supposed to start in 2016. This was all supposed to start with a new Clinton administration. They were supposed to fast track this whole plan, Agenda 2025. Is it 2025 or 2030? 2030, right? I get confused because now they've got the one the big racist thing, and then they've got one that's.
It was Agenda 2030.
30. Okay, so yeah, sorry, my brain is fried. Agenda 2030, but they were fast tracking that, but it was supposed to start in 16. So all the things that we saw start in 2020, or 2019 to 2020, were delayed apparently, and so they had to rush to get everything put back.
Well, that's why everything feels so rushed,
Yeah.
And that's why this feels like a rush. You know, when you're watching a movie and afterwards you're like, it was good, but they rushed the ending. That's what this feels like. It's like we've got so many different plot twists happening at once. Like if people are watching Earth, you know, the TV show
Earth 666.
Earth, you know, if people are watching this reality TV show on another planet, they're like, "Whoa, what the fuck is happening over here? And what's happening over there?" There's a lot happening. You know, you've got all these different plot twists, and like I said, first of all, the Vatican chapter, the portals. We got their visitors, the drones on the sky, and we've got all this stuff.
And you think about the shit that they start up and then kind of fizzles out. Like, remember they were rewriting the 10 Commandments? Remember that?
Yeah.
They're all getting together rewriting the 10. I didn't hear any more about that shit.
Yeah, I remember that.
Then, what was the other one? It was all about climate change. Everything was going to stop because of climate. We're going to have climate lockdowns.
Yeah.
That was the next thing because the Earth doesn't warm or heat on us or whatever. And then, like, they have gone through all these things that the one world religion, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And they all signed the bill for the one world. I heard it was being built in New York. No more word about that one.
Oh, that's true.
And that was the one where they were going to, if anybody presented the symbol of a cross, they were going to be beheaded for showing the symbol of a cross.
There's no more word about that.
No, that's gone.
I remember hearing about that, and it was like real quick. It was like here. If you guys didn't hear about that, look it up. You may find something on it, but I remember
this was fairly recent. It was
recent.
Early this year.
Like that they were like, okay, we're gonna have a one world religion.
Yeah.
And everyone was going to unite.
It was going to be Jewish, Catholic, and Muslim. It was all coming together, and you could not use a cross as a symbol. It was one that would not have a symbol. And it was their one world religion. They were all going to get along. And then that's gone.
You're right.
The World Economic Forum. They were in charge of everything. Unelected people were in control of everything that was happening in our lives. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
We're doing this, we're taking this away. You're gonna eat bugs. You're gonna you'll have nothing and you'll like it. You'll own nothing. And go fuck yourself. You'll own nothing and you'll like it. Wait, remember that? I'm not playing. And the cows were causing
cow farts.
Yeah, cow farts were causing ozone issue. Are you kidding? But this was a thing. And the guy who looked like Hitler's son was out there, like telling everybody how it was good. I'm like, does nobody else see that this guy looks like he's like Dr. Evil from, Austin Powers? He's like the serious version of him. I'm like, this is like a parody, guys. We're in a friggin' parody.
It was a lot of shit.
But you think, they overloaded us with it. And to think about, again, going back to what I said, how much emotion was harvested during that. They got me. Because that whole time I was following everything that was going on. I'm like, oh my God, did you hear? Now we're going to have to do this. Oh my God, did you hear this? Oh my God, we have to fight this. Oh my God. Like every day there was something new.
They get your energy a lot. Like I try to just be like, he comes to me and he's like, damn, like, yeah. And not because I don't care, but because I refuse to let them feed off me. I'm like, no, you ain't touching this girl.
Klaus Schwab, that was his name.
Yes. Like you ain't touching.
That's a villain's name.
Baby,
his dad was a Nazi.
You didn't get our little podcast shut down.
I just
all 100 people that listen to this, they're going to be influenced.
We love you, every last one of you. We love you. Thank you. Tell a friend about our insanity. But when it comes down to it, guys, yeah, they have tried everything. So now, in summary, because we don't want to go too long here, we don't want to take 3 hours on our fourth.
Oh, I'm ready.
I could do it too, but people get bored.
And I realized, and I realized something. We started, and we didn't even say who we were. We just started talking. So people that are listening to this for the first time,
you're gonna find us. You'll find out who we are. We in the first one we told people who we were.
I'm Dee Garcia, by the way, psychic medium.
I'm Dee Garcia,
paranormal researcher, paranormal investigator.
Do you think anybody cares at this point? I mean, we're that far in right now. I'm Mooney. Hi. No, but I mean, there's so much to cover. I mean, that's why what the reason we do the podcast the way that we do is literally we just want to invite you in on the conversations that we have sitting at home, driving in the car, on our trips, all these kind of things we put out there, because I think we really, on a psychic level and a crazy level,
are
probably
connected.
too, we peek on things and we figure it out. Like we might not have all the answers, but the two of us together, it's like, oh, just
Like
like
the St. Peter thing.
Saint Peter, in our opinion, was Satan on
There was
Earth.
a connection there because and
Reincarnated Satan.
it started because we were like, okay, they're calling it the tomb of Lucifer. Why is the tomb of Lucifer under the Vatican? What's going on with this? We did digging, did some research. I'm like, no, the only thing down there is St. Peter, because it was built on, on Peter, Simon Peter, Christ's disciple. Looked into it, kept going, kept looking into it, and then I remembered, and it's funny because that's how it started. I said, it's funny because that they have him in such high regard. I mean, I know he was a disciple of Christ, but he's the one that denied him 3 times. And then we stayed thinking about it. We're like, yeah, he was the one that denied him 3 times. And I said, yeah, and remember. And then when I said it, I was like, it was in front of me the whole time, and I never made the connection. I was like, he's the one that got crucified upside down. And Chris was like, I'm like, exactly. And then I started doing more research into it, and then I found a thing that says in Matthew 16,
get behind me, Satan.
Yeah, behind me, Satan.
Think about the theory in that. Well, what's happening, number one, should scare the hell out of you. So take it in and then let it go. Don't don't
hold on to that fear.
But the theory that we came up with, I think, is insane, but I think it's real. What if Yahuwah, God, decided, I'm going to give these fallen angels one more chance? Being all powerful, Elohim, I'm going to give them one more chance to do the right thing. I want to see, was it the situation, was it the moment, or was it in their heart? And to bring them back with that unconscious amnesia, right? And then to find out that in the end, it was him. It was his angelic being, his soul, that was the thing that betrayed him again. Think about that again, and Judas again, who was
Judas, Judas, the other one that betrayed him. But I feel like it was either that all along it was him, or Jesus saw that, yes, this man, Simon Peter, was tainted by the devil. Like, it could be either or, but I would lean more towards the other one. But
I just feel I feel that first one. I feel it.
I feel like it could either he was tainted by the devil.
But I mean, think about the opportunity being you have the opportunity as the Most High to say, I've created all these. I love them. They were my first creation. I love them. I want to give them another opportunity to find out if it was the situation, the moment, or if it was the soul, the energy. And then to find out, think about the betrayal that Yahuwah must have felt again. You did it again. Get behind me, Satan. I mean, I'm like, oh, that makes sense. If I feel that, I really feel it. I'm like, ooh, that makes sense.
Well, when he says that to him, it's because he was trying to cast him out of him.
Right.
He was trying to cast, when he said that, get behind me, Satan. Like, I look in your eyes. He's like, I see that you have, you're a block to me. And he tells him, you have only the concern. You don't have the concerns of God, but the concerns of men.
I'm a fan of man.
Exactly. Yeah.
Think about that.
And so, he was trying to cast him out. That's why he looked in his eyes.
Well, was he? Was he trying to cast him out, or was he realizing who he was? That's the interpretation you got to figure out. Anyway, we went on too long. Guys, another crazy podcast. If you found enjoyment in this, please make sure to subscribe to the Ghost Box Chronicles channel. Make sure to turn on all the alerts so that you get notified every time that we put one of these out. We're trying to do weekly. We're trying
to do this weekly.
Every week we're trying to get a new one out.
I'm enjoying it so much that I'm like, let's do 2 a week. But
if we had more time, I
would.
Right. But turn all those on and tell a friend. That's going to be the biggest thing. If you're really enjoying this, whether you agree with us or don't agree with us, you think that we make sense or we're lunatics, if you're having fun, comment on the video, talk to us.
Give us your perspective too. Yeah, we're not hateful. If there's something, and if I said something that you have a different perspective, you're like, hey, you know what? I think it's this, or correct me if I Chris too, in a nice way. Don't be a dick about it. But
actually, if you don't agree with what I say, just keep it to yourself.
You could say, hey, D, actually, this is or this is what I've heard and then we could dive into it. We could dive into it and say, hey, well, let me look into that. Because that's one thing. I love to research things all the time. I'm always looking into it, finding other sources, going through, seeing what else I can find, what other connections I can make, always. So, let us know what you guys thought. What are your thoughts on, the whole thing with, the Pope, the Vatican, the tomb,
All of it.
we had with Peter, all the revelations that we had. What are your guys' thoughts, and do you have anything to add?
Yeah, your comments that are on the video, that it's going to open a new idea for us to come in and have a next podcast and a next one. We want to have that conversation with you guys. We do plan on doing some live versions of the show as well.
Yes, I want to do
which
that.
is gonna be a lot of fun, but I don't want to do that too often because sometimes it kind of breaks the flow of the energy between the two of us. We're kind of wrapped up in trying to answer everybody's questions, but we will do probably every 10 or so. We'll probably do
we'll do a live one, and just let us know in the comments what you guys think, what you guys feel, and I want you all to be patient with us because right now we kind of have this thing that we're all looking that's going to happen, which is so you might get sick and tired of us because maybe the next one we're okay, next on Vatican agenda.
Well, we gotta go with what's happening.
Yeah, we gotta go with what's happening, and if we find new things out, if something else happens, if we see something else, whatever, that might be the next topic. But
let us be your non-mainstream news and opinion source.
On the next one, I want you to talk about. You didn't get to talk about it so much right now because we're trying to keep them short so that you guys can want to watch it. But
fail, by the way, on this one. This one's really long.
I know. But the next one, I want you to touch on how, the orb thing. My man here, you've been the one talking about orbs and saying what they are, trying to explain them for years now. And you've been ridiculed. And
I was a total idiot. Yeah. I had plumbers telling me what orbs were. Anyway.
You
it's just so funny to think about now.
But yeah.
But when it comes down to it, yeah. So we'll talk about that. Also, I'll get into, hopefully next time, a little bit about why I was on the Vatican's top 10 list there for a while, their little hit list, because of the use of the ghost box, because I was getting too much information. And maybe that's why you should listen to what we're saying right now. I don't know. Just a thought.
Maybe. All right. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Smile, and remember to make someone else smile too. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, turn on notifications,